Hey everybody, this is Curtis from PSNStores.com. Today we're going to take a look at Inside. This was developed by Playdead. They're the same studio that put out Limbo just a few years back. So this is their newest game. If you've played Limbo, you're going to notice a lot of similarities. This, in a lot of ways, feels like an improvement of kind of that concept of this boy who kind of finds himself in this situation where you're not really sure what's going on. It's a bit abstract and it's and very minimalistic in its storytelling. But in this game, like, you can kind of notice the improvements where it's a very similar art style, but obviously the boy's a bit more defined. You can see like there's a little bit of color here, but you can notice like you can see like what his hair looks like. There's a difference between there's like a distinction between his clothing and stuff like that. And also you can just there's more detail really. It's whereas Limbo, in a lot of ways, it was very just black and grays and stuff, and this has a lot of that. There's just a bit more detail there. But also the boy is, I feel like he's a little bit more capable. Or at least this boy is, there's more things that you're able to do within the game. And then the puzzles themselves, they are a bit more, I think they're a little better integrated into the world itself, if that makes sense. And so this is actually the first one that you'll really come across. We've skipped the opening 2 to 3 minutes of the game just because it's a lot of just running to the right. There's not a lot going on, at least gameplay-wise. There's some story stuff, sort of, where you're running away from some people and some dogs. But I figured we'd skip to this part and check out a little bit of this game. So this is the first puzzle you come across. There's this big machine. If we went over to the right, obviously we need to get up here, but we can't quite jump that high. So we're going to see what we can do here. So I can pull this. If we pull it a couple times, it'll eventually start. Okay, so that's good. So we pull the lever. Some stuff going on there, but it's not quite knocking down that barrel of hay. Or that just bundle of hay. But if we go over here, and this is, I finished this game last night, so I know what to do here. We can let these little chicks in. And they're just gonna follow us. But we're a little faster than them, so if we let them catch up over here, perhaps you're already kind of piecing together what's gonna happen here. Once they catch up, or actually, get them all the way over. So once they catch up and they've stopped, we're gonna run. Get a little bit of a lead on them. And they'll knock it down for us. Now, luckily, they survived that somehow. But they've knocked it down for us, so now we can get back up. So a lot of puzzles like that, they get kind of tricky. I think the most interesting part of this game, and we're not going to get to that point in this video, is one of the main mechanics as far as puzzle solving is concerned is, I don't know the best way to say it. There is a way in which you can control other people in the game, where you can control multiple other people at the same time through your movements. And the way that's done, story-wise, like as far as how that fits into the story, is kind of interesting. Oh, I didn't even notice this. You can kind of see, like, it's creepy. But also, like, game mechanics-wise, the way that is used as a game mechanic is super interesting. It makes for some really cool puzzles. And eventually they expand upon that throughout the game. Now, like Limbo itself, again, if you've played Limbo, I think a lot of this game is going to feel very familiar. It's going to feel a lot like, it's very obvious that it's from the same developer, and I don't know that necessarily these games are tied together in any sort of way. But it definitely feels like an improved, like just a sequel. in the way that it's a very similar game, especially gameplay-wise. It's very similar, but there's a lot of things here that if you look at little details, and just different like little improvements in the mechanics themselves, it's very clear that this is an improved version of that kind of game. Obviously, the story, the setting is very, very different. Or actually, maybe we will get to that mechanic. I forgot that this was actually that soon. So we got this pig. I feel real bad for this kid here. So right here, this is gonna show kind of one of the core mechanics of this game. I guess you come across it a little earlier than I remembered. So we are now hooked in to this kind of helmet device. And in doing that, you now see that we have control of these people in the background. 4 of them, specifically. It's this, like, form of mind control. So, there are some that are in this, like, cage. They're kind of locked away, so we can go up and we can raise this door. And get all 4 of them to work together. And we can come over, we can grab this. If we start pulling it out, everything will conveniently fall down and create a pathway for us. I was joking last night. My brother and I played through this together last night, and we kept joking that some parts of this game felt very Uncharted-esque, where things just very conveniently fell into place for you as you were running along. And again, I don't want to go too far into this. This is a very short game, like Limbo, like Abzu, like Bound, like any of these kinds of games, especially those recent games. We've had a lot of them recently. They're very short. You know, this is something that took probably about 2 hours to finish. Very narrative heavy, very minimalistic kind of storytelling, but it's definitely very heavy in its narrative. There are some secret items, or not items, there are like these secret generator things that you can find. I think trophies are attached to them. I found 1 or 2, just kind of playing through. They seem to be pretty well hidden. And actually, one of the cool things is collecting all of those without going into too much detail does allow you to unlock a secret ending. And again, without going into too much detail, I think, as was clearly evidenced by, you know, when this game released on PC and Xbox One just about a month or 2 ago, the ending of this game is something that a lot of people were talking about. I remember I was interested in playing this anyways, just because I liked Limbo. I wanted to see what they were going to do next. But also, there was just a lot of people talking about the ending of this game. And again, I promise I won't spoil anything. It's something else. I imagine, once again, with this game coming out on PS4 now, I imagine that conversation is going to be brought up again, because it's wild. It truly is something I was not expecting. And we should have a review of this game at some point, hopefully very, very soon. And to be honest, I don't really know what I think. I liked Limbo quite a bit, and I think this is, I guess, better than Limbo. I don't know. Like, it's definitely improved gameplay-wise. Oh, or there's our first death. I did not mean to do that. It's definitely improved in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it just feels like more Limbo, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I guess it really depends on how you feel about that game. And the ending's just weird. It's more like I need to kind of just process the ending a little bit more. One thing this game still does have a lot of is there's some very, very gruesome ways for you to die in this game. Now, falling from a high up place, you know, there's that, but there's also like there's some other things later on that are pretty intense. So we're gonna drop down here, and this is actually one of the secrets. So there are these like objects here that you can find hidden, and I already found this one. This is one of the ones I found. But you can pull that thing out, deactivate them, you'll get a trophy. And when you find all of them, kind of figure out this puzzle. That's how you can unlock the secret ending. So we'll go a little farther. Just so we can get another example of these kinds of, these mind control puzzle kind of deals. And so sometimes the interesting thing is like even though I'm holding left, one of them's moving right, one's moving left. Vice versa. So what we want to do is there's two switches right there. So we want to have both of them activated. Well, we need that door to close. So you see some weird stuff going on down there. I think we'll come to an end here. Again, I don't want to go too far. But this game is out right now on PS4. It came out today. Or yesterday, depending on when you're watching this video. It is $20. Again, it'll take you about 2 hours to finish if you just play through it. I think if you go back and try to find all the hidden little secret areas, it'll probably take you a little bit longer. It's really interesting. For me, it's really a matter of if you like Limbo or not. I don't think you're gonna get anything out of this if Limbo just wasn't your thing. But if that was something that you played and you really enjoyed, and if it really stuck with you in the way that it did for me, I think you absolutely owe it to yourself to check this game out, without question. It's very similar. There are some differences here and there. Story-wise, especially, it's very, very different. But it's the same kind of game. You're gonna notice a lot of similarities. So that's gonna do it though. So thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you later.